Good day and welcome to another episode of What's Happening Today, presented to you by Rapido News Network. In our first story, we will talk about the political climate in the United States. Next, we will talk about a message sent by Coinbase CEO that the company plans to lay off 18% of the workforce as the fortune of crypto billionaires are melting with the Bitcoin crash. Post that, we will discuss that according to a new Bloomberg report, world's richest have lost $1.4 trillion in 2022. And in our final story, we will talk about the Russian Ukrainian conflict. So let's get started. In our first story, Adam Laxalt, a former Nevada Attorney General, has won the state's Republican primary for Senate and will face incumbent Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, a Democrat, in what is likely to be a highly competitive November general election. Mr. Laxalt's victory over Sam Brown, a retired Army captain, was declared by the Associated Press. He and Ms. Cortez Masto, who is seen as one of the Democrats' most vulnerable incumbent, will now prepare for a costly months-long clash as Republicans try to take back the control of the Senate. A co-chair of the 2020 Mr. Trump's campaign in Nevada, Mr. Laxalt was endorsed both by former President Donald Trump and Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, two of the most popular figures in the Republican Party. Now next, the U.S. House District in South Texas sent a Republican to Congress for the first time in its 10 years history. Myra Flores, a Republican and respiratory care health aide, scored a significant victory in a special election on Tuesday for the party, which has been trying to capitalize on its success in 2020 in the Democratic stronghold of the Rio Grande Valley. She will be the first Latina Republican from Texas in Congress. Ms. Flores defeated three opponents in the special election to replace former Representative Philemon Vela, a Democrat who retired this year before the end of his term. She captured more than 50% of the vote in the Texas 34th Congressional District, according to the Associated Press. Now, in our next story, Coinbase is laying off almost a fifth of its workforce amid a collapse in its stock and crypto prices. The cryptocurrency exchange will cut 18% of full-time jobs, according to an email sent to employees on Tuesday morning. Coinbase has roughly 5,000 full-time employees, translating to a headcount reduction of around 1,100 people. Shares of Coinbase closed down to 0.83% in the last trading session, that is on Tuesday. CEO Brian Armstrong pointed to a possible recession and the need to manage Coinbase's burn rate and increase efficiency. He also said that company grew too quickly during a bull market. We appear to be entering a recession after a 10+ years economic boom. A recession could lead to another crypto winter, and that could last for an extended period, Armstrong said in the email, addressing that past crypto winters have resulted in a significant decline in trading activity. While it's hard to predict the economy or the markets, we always plan for the worst so we can operate the business through any environment. Now, in our next story, the 500 wealthiest people in the world have lost a combined total of $1.4 trillion this year, including $206 billion on Monday alone, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, as global markets buckle under the weight of higher interest rate and inflation anxiety. The data shows that the rank of the wealthy in Asia Pacific increased just 4.2%, trailing Europe and falling further behind North America after dominating the growth of rich people for more than the past decade. China's crackdown on technology and a cooling real estate market was partly the cause, but it also reflects the ferocious gains in the US stock market, which helped inflate everything from cryptocurrency to the property values. That's now rapidly reversing as inflation has spiraled, prompting concerns over how sharply the Federal Reserve will raise rates. Still, the Cape Gemini report illustrates just how much the COVID-19 pandemic and monetary response benefit the economically elite and where they predominantly reside. The US, Japan, China, and Germany remain among the top countries where most of the world's wealthy live. These four are home to almost 64% of high net worth individuals globally, Capgemini's report showed. What's more, even among the world's high net worth individual, the very rich saw the most benefit. People with investable asset of $30 million or more in 2021 saw their wealth expand by 9.6% compared to 2020, the fastest pace among the cohorts, according to a report. The massive wealth created from sky-high valuation of tech companies and startups also gave rise to more young and rich individuals, including in the space of crypto. Of course, that rapid ascent is now under siege as Bitcoin, Ether, and rest of the crypto space tumbles, and tech startup fundraising new capital is about to get a lot more costly. Now in our final story on the Russian Ukrainian conflict, NATO defense ministers meet on Wednesday with the future of the grueling war of attrition in Ukraine on their minds. The two-day gathering comes as the battle for the eastern Ukraine enters a critical stage, with Russia grinding out steady gains and controlling most of the resource-rich Donbas region. Ukraine has begged for more heavy arms to counter Moscow's superiority in the long-range artillery. The meeting may provide a measure of how much the initial unity among Western allies, who swiftly responded to Russia's invasion with sanctions and massive arms shipments, has frayed as their economies have grappled with rising inflation and gas prices. Some NATO members are anxious and want to avoid a long stalemate war. Still, a top Pentagon official repeated the standard American position on Tuesday that the United States would not pressure Ukraine into negotiating a ceasefire, that such decisions are up to the democratically elected government of Ukraine. The fight in the eastern Ukraine has become a grinding artillery battle marked by sieges of major cities, the sort of conflict that favors Russia's much larger military. Without aid from NATO member countries, Ukraine would be in a far worse situation than it is now. Ukraine has demanded more and more sophisticated weapons and has voiced frustration that the delivery of heavy weapons already promised by its Western allies have been slow. The war in Ukraine has presented a huge challenge to NATO and to the security structure that helped keep the peace on the continent since the World War II. That was all for the major news update for June 15th. Stay tuned for our next update on the ongoing world affairs. We hope that you find this video useful. If you like this video, hit like. And for continued update on what's happening around the world, consider subscribing. And to get notified whenever we post something new, hit that bell icon. If you have any comments or any suggestions for us, please let us know in the comment sections below. Thank you.